We know that the margins are very small. I think we have two different halves. The first one where we have a lot of domination, created some big situation with players almost inside the 6-yard box to pick a player up, and we didn't find the right pass to score the goal. And the second half was a bit more struggle. We were very imprecise with the ball, which didn't allow us to counter press and be very close to the structure. Obviously, they have a lot of midfielders. They start to drop everybody, so they can put a lot of passes together outside the organization without really having anybody in the box, because I don't think we conceded a single shot apart from the mistake that we did in the first half. But yeah, these games then need some magic moment, and at Anfield, so they did it and they won the game. And today it didn't happen, but yeah, you cannot win it. You know that you cannot lose it.
Does it feel like a performance that's a big step forward, or is it just the case that actually, for most of the season, you've actually been quite good in these big games? It's the different types of games against low blocks, lower teams in the division that just don't suit you as well at the moment.
I've said 150 times already that against certain opposition certain playing styles we're a very good team, and against certain playing styles we struggle. And maybe you could even see that today, although people are now positive that we kept the ball so long, but even against the low block of Arsenal, we struggled to create chances. So that is something we would like to do better. But in all the big games we played this season, I think, except maybe for City away, although there was a big incident that went against us just before half-time. And I think for all the other games we've showed that we can compete with any other team, but we've struggled too much against low blocks. That's why we are, as one of the reasons, so many points behind them. And of course, it's good that we show, going into the second half of the season, that we can compete with any team in England, but I think also in Europe.
And of course, they've got big challenges. Disappointed with the performance, I suppose, tonight. But a clean sheet, another point, and you're 6 points clear after 21 games. What a position to be in. Absolutely fantastic. But you have to still believe Man City and Aston Villa will keep trying to hunt them down. It'll be interesting the next few weeks in terms of the transfer window. Will players, obviously, will clubs strengthen? We see what City were going to do. Will Arsenal strengthen? But at this moment in time, Arsenal, obviously, red-hot favourites to win that title.
Well, as we saw, tempers flared at the end after Conor Bradley had gone down injured and Gabriel Martinelli tried to shove him off the pitch.
I see that Conor twisted his knee. I don't know what is going on with him. And obviously he didn't want to come back to the pitch to make it time wasting or something. He just had so much pain that he couldn't even think where he rolled. And then you come there to push him off the pitch. I understand that you want to win, we want to win as well, but I think the health of a player is much more important than something else.
Probably he doesn't know, because knowing Gavi is zero intention. I don't know what happened to Conor, but hopefully it's not bad, but obviously there is no intention from Gavi to do anything bad to him.
I think if a player of us is on the floor, people might know by now that is. Normally I say 99 out of 100 times, or maybe I should say 100 out of 100 times, then there's something wrong with that player. And I think you could see this. So, yeah, you don't like to see a player being moved if he might have such a big injury. So, yeah, that was indeed an incident that happened, that I didn't like to see one of my players being moved out of the pitch if he might have such a big injury, which we don't know yet, but might be.
What did you make of that incident at the end there, Roy? It seemed a bit messy, didn't it, on the touchline?
No, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Happened to me once before, and I was badly injured. A player stood over me, and yeah, it's not good, because clearly we could see. Listen, we know football, we know players' reactions, we know he's a good lad. First of all, throwing the ball on him, standing over him, and if he's got a little knee in him here, if you watch it closely, he's trying to force him off. And I'm surprised the Liverpool players didn't go after Martinelli a bit more. I think Martinelli, that behaviour is absolutely a disgrace, because he's a good boy to roll around himself. So no, not good scenes. Hopefully Martinelli will have a look at it and hopefully apologise for it.
And he's someone who's actually had a serious knee injury himself, Daniel.
It's disappointing to see, to be honest with you. You know, there's passion, there's being a winner, there's wanting to help your teammates, but you got to be respectful as a football player. You know, in moments in the game, especially with injuries. I've been someone who's had injuries, and it's never a nice feeling. I can see maybe he's thinking, oh, time wasting, but brother, you got to be self-aware enough to know, like, okay, cool, the guy's down. Like, you've been there before. And it's just disrespectful, probably even worse than disrespectful, to be honest with you. It's just disappointing to see.
Know your players as well. Know your players. You know what's under reaction. You could tell he's obviously injured.
In the sense that it wouldn't be something that Conor Bradley would do lightly?
Obviously not. I don't think he's the type of kid to do that. And if you're standing over, you don't know the injury the player's got. Again, it looks pretty bad. You're trying to push him off the pitch. Not good stuff, that.
Well, that is a great shame, and we do hope that Conor Bradley's injury is not too bad, but his manager is obviously very concerned right now. 10 unbeaten now for Liverpool, and Arne Slot's side didn't have a goalless draw in his first 83 matches in charge, and now he's had 2 in a week. But this run has taken Liverpool into 4th place in the Premier League, and 14 points off the top still, but 8 behind City and Aston Villa. And they're in a scrap, it seems, right now for Champions League football. Or should we be expecting or hoping more from Liverpool, Daniel?
More. The Champions League's what they need to aim for. You see how tight it is there. A few bad results and it could go downhill. So, look, tonight was a good performance from the team, and they've strung together an unbeaten run. But the points suggest that even if you're unbeaten, it doesn't really matter. There's so many teams, it's so close that they've got to get a run of wins is what they need. But they'll take a lot of confidence from tonight. They work so hard, and the manager's game plan was great. They'll go back to the drawing board, and once they get those players back fit, they'll look to go after it.
Did you have your questions on Liverpool answered this evening?
What were my questions?
I can't remember what they were. you were wondering.
I said before the game
wanted to know why they dropped off so much. That was what you were chatting with Daniel.
I think that's still the mystery of why they've dropped off so much from last season. But what I said before the game was that they had 9 of their best 11 players out on the pitch that would have played in their starting 11. And to be fair, I think that proved it tonight, because I think those 9 players, along with the other 2, did a very good job. They were really good. They obviously missed Salah, Ekitike, Isak. They missed that sort of ruthless killer up front. But I think they can. We've accused Liverpool of being flaky at moments this season where they've fallen apart in games. Tonight, I thought they were really good. And it shocked me, I have to say. To switch a game from being so defensive in the first half and being dominated in possession to then go and controlling the game in the second half is, I thought it was really good from Liverpool. I think he can be really bad. And the only bad thing tonight is the Conor Bradley injury. I thought it was a really bad one. It was just a situation as well. I hope Martinelli's gone in to apologise to him in the dressing room.
Would you expect him to have done that?
100%. 100%. The minute he knows that lad's injured. Look, no football. I genuinely believe football players deep down are all good lads, and that, to be fair, there's a competitiveness to them, there's emotion, you get it. He obviously thinks that he's trying to waste time at the end of a game, Martinelli, but I think you could see that was a bad one. He throws the ball at him, he then chucks him over. I mean, it looks like he's been stretched off, and what Arne Slot said, it's not good. I hope that Martinelli has gone into the Liverpool dressing room or into the treatment room where Conor Bradley is, and has said, I'm really sorry, I should not have done that. I'd like to think that's happened.
You talked about them as being poor champions before the game, Roy. If that is their level, and Dominic Szoboszlai sort of hinted that he wanted that to be the level moving forward, can it still turn out to be a good season for them?
I think, listen, all the talk before the game, most people coming here tonight would have probably felt if Arsenal had the very best, they'd win the game. But we'd have to give Liverpool credit. The way they turned up, it showed a bit of fighting spirit. And they're up against, you can see they're not quite at their very best. But they've got their own battles going on. Their battle is for 4th. So I would give Liverpool credit tonight, but I still think they should be doing better than what they have over the season. But I understand the challenges they've faced. If they turn up like that and show that bit of spirit, a bit of quality, then they will finish in that top 4. And considering where they were a couple of months ago, if you'd offered that to Liverpool, they probably would have took it. They've got European football. Obviously, the managers there mentioned the FA Cup. So Liverpool getting 1 or 2 players back still have the potential of a very good season.
Did you think it was a penalty? Obviously, I was on commentary. Did you think the Trossard on Wirtz one was a penalty or not now?
We can have another look at it now, Gary. There wasn't a lot of love for it, I think, in here
I
at
was
the time.
a bit like that with it. I just wondered what you thought in the studio. I don't listen to what you're saying straight after the game.
I have a question now, because when you say poor champions, right? What is a good champion? No, honestly, it's a genuine question. Like a good defense, like when you say they're poor champions, what does that mean?
To be so far off it, to be so many points behind, what really good champions do, they win it again. That's the key to for big clubs. If you win the league, surely the following year, I mentioned there when they won it with Klopp, the following season, this is the.
Right, we'll come back to that conversation because it's an interesting one, but this is what Gary was talking about there.
If it was given, do you think it would have been overruled?
Probably not. It was a risky one.
It was.
Look at that there.
Yeah.
No,
Anywhere else on the pitch?
Yeah.
Is that a foul? Yeah.
Mate,
Do you think it's a penalty or not?
I think that's a pen.
Yeah,
I do.
But half of me, it's one of them. Joseph, you lose your confidence a little bit now when you. Honestly, you're on.
Gary, we played with you for a long time. Yeah.
No, you lose your confidence now and thinking, what's a penalty? Is that a penalty? Is it not? Is it a dive? I just thought, Joseph, that's a foul, isn't it? It's a foul.
It always looks worse when it's slowed down.
Yeah. Probably.
If they say go to the screen, that's a pen.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
You didn't say this at the time. I'm pretty sure you didn't say it.
At the time we didn't see the replay at the time.
Dave, that's why
We're watching the game.
At the time, I was watching it on the VAR, I'm watching the replays. I'm thinking, is that a
We're
penalty?
great in hindsight. Yeah.
We were all looking.
Any more
back there.
penalties? There were a couple of close calls, weren't there? Because Frimpong also had a bit of contact, which is why he went over on his ankle in that first half. I think everyone had said it here, if that one had been given on the field, it wasn't going to get overturned. That is for sure. What's a good champion?
Good champion is when you're back competing at the very top. We mentioned about Liverpool when Klopp won it. Was it 5-6 years ago? They were 30-odd points off worse the following year. For big clubs like Liverpool, and this year, come back to last year, but after 20 games, they're 13 points worse off.
Can I ask Roy a question?
Champions.
Can I ask you a question?
Is a concern for Liverpool and, of course, for poor Conor Bradley, who's been so unfortunate with injury. Some fairly strong words there from Arne Slot. The incident was just down to our right-hand side here with the challenge on the Northern Ireland International and then the reaction from Gabriel Martinelli. What did you make of this, Michael?
Well, first of all, yeah, it does look a nasty one. There looks like there's a roll of the ankle there and he's in some pain. You see him tapping the floor. It's an awkward one because 9 times out of 10 players can go down and can stay down. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with Arne Slot there. Frimpong stayed down when he thought there was a penalty early in the first. I think there was no way he was hurt there, but he stayed down. You know, I don't necessarily agree with that. However, that's poor. Throwing the ball at him to start with and then pretending that you are concerned by patting him and saying, oh, are you okay? And then sticking your knee in him and trying to push him off and then using your arms to push him off. That's not good. And obviously it's made worse by the fact that it could be a serious injury. You know, and as I say, 9 times out of 10, it's okay to do that. People play acting, people are wasting time, whatever. But there was no reason for Liverpool to waste time at the minute. They were having a good second half. And the outcome of it, if Conor Bradley is seriously injured, it's not a good look for Martinelli. Not at all.
Can you understand why the Liverpool players were incensed there?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'm sure, I know Gabriel Martinelli, and I know that he's not a mean-spirited person. The fact is, he's probably the latter stage of the game, feels like they're under pressure, trying to win the game. Last stages, that's out of order. Absolutely, there's no excuse for that. And you can see now, you can start to see that he looks like he's in pain. So that don't look good on his point of view. And again, look from his point of view, he's thinking that he's gone down, the game's over nearly, and he's wasting time. That's what he's thinking. Has he taken that from the fact that Frimpong was doing it in the first half? I don't know, but there's no excuse for that. I can't really say anything other than he probably thought it wasn't as injured as he was.
Yeah.
And how much do you feel for Conor Bradley? Because it seems just when he gets in the Liverpool team, when he gets a run in the Liverpool team, something like that happens to him.
Yeah. And it's not like a repetition of the same injury all the time, is it? It's different injuries.
Yeah. Well, let me just give you this stat. His longest run of consecutive starts in his Premier League career is 8.
Wow.
And not so long ago, I was reading numbers, maybe only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and someone told me that he's actually been injured about 50% of the time. He's not been available for selection in about 50% of games in the last 2 years. For somebody that's very young, that's not a great stat, obviously. And it's the reason why when Trent Alexander-Arnold left, Liverpool didn't just sit back and think, right, Conor Bradley's our right back. They had to go and get cover because of that injury record. And of course, Frimpong then came in. ironically, he got injured as well, and we've seen Endo play there. We've been seen Szoboszlai, we've been Curtis Jones, we've been Gomez. You know, there's lots of different standing right backs.
Does that
now
make this, what Arne Slot thinks is a serious injury, even more of a worry now going forward? Because it's been a problem position with all those players you've just listed having to play there.
Of course, so they have got covered. As I say, you know, Frimpong's back playing now. He might have to revert to right back if Conor Bradley's injury is as bad as we first fear. Then they've got other people that can play out a position, let's say. However, it's not good, obviously, being young and getting injured so many times. I know, I felt it myself. It's the most frustrating, horrible thing in the world. I know people think, oh, you paid for this, you paid for that. It's... When you're 8 years old, when you're 10 years old, when you're 12 years old, you don't think of money, you don't think of anything else other than this, playing against Arsenal, playing in these big games. You just want to play football. All the fame, everything else comes with it, fantastic. But the main thing you want to do is kick a ball around with your mates. And it's so heartbreaking when that gets taken away from you. A bit of bad luck, whatever it might be. And it's happened again, sadly.
You know, you could see the way he was trying to clear that ball. It was an awkward kind of turn what he done on his, you could see it, and you can almost see the way he kicked the ball out. When you watch him, he's there, you could see that Gabriel Martinelli, he actually wasn't looking at him, so he wouldn't have seen how he's gone down. So all that, again, I don't even like seeing it, all that's happening, but he's not seen that, because as soon as I saw that, the way he went down trying to clear it, he wasn't in contact with anybody. So I'm thinking, you know what I mean, he's done something there, and that's not good. It doesn't look good. I'm really sorry to see that. Hopefully it's not too bad for him.
Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed for Conor Bradley. So he didn't finish the game, but in the first half, ironically, he was the closest to breaking the deadlock with this situation that happened.
Great play from him, wasn't it?
It was.
Really good play.
Liverpool did this a couple of times, right, as well. Played out from the back, really nice 1-2 touch football. Breaking quite quickly. I mean, it was Arsenal's first half, no question about it. But it was a nice move, and then the ball breaks back to Bradley. We were just debating. You were saying maybe if you go a little bit higher, take a bit of the pace off further into the corner.
Kind of tried to curl it over towards the post because it's gone so straight. Look, it's
flat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flat. It just needed a little bit of like that loop towards the post. But like, he's a defender. He's only scored one goal for Liverpool, but it's a great effort from him. But like, it's just got too much pace on it.
And with less pace, Timber may get back. I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a great effort. Great effort. His through ball was pretty average, actually. It should have been a better one to Frimpong. But when the ball came back to him, he did pretty much everything right.
Just a quick one on what Arne Slot was saying there about trying to break teams down who defend deep and sit behind the ball. It's a problem. He gets a bit spiky when he's asked about it, Arne Slot, but he's just admitted it is an issue. They have work to do there in terms of that.
But it is the hardest thing to do, of course, when you're counter-attacking, when you're playing against less people, let's say, then it's obviously easy. There's more space. When you're playing against a deep defence that are defending in numbers, there's no space in behind. It takes a little bit of craft. It takes width. It takes a Wirtz to be in those pockets, and that's probably what they bought him for, to be good in those tight spaces. And it takes a lot of the time an early goal. And an early goal then opens things up. The longer it goes, the harder it becomes. Long-range shooting as well. You know, you become a little bit desperate. That's what Liverpool have ended up doing a little bit today. But yeah, low blocks will always be difficult to score against. That's why people do it. That's why people come here to the Emirates and play against Arsenal, and a lot of the time they do it themselves.
The thing about it is the player that they had, what was brilliant in that situation, Luis Diaz. So if you're not going to replace like for like for the low block, then you're probably going to end up with games like that, because you look at Frimpong, unbelievable pace, he gets down there, but his end product seems to be something that he's lacking at the moment. But like, you get rid of a Luis Diaz who can open teams up with a low block, with his skill, his trickery, and you lose that and you don't replace that, then you are going to have a problem with it.